Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of your OGR, as today is Game 6, as, we actually finally have something positive to talk about, as the Edmonton Oilers took Game 6 and now tied the series up at 3, and now it is heading off to a Game 7. Now, I'm absolute fucking stunned, to say the least here, boys, and I'm absolutely blown away by how crazy McDavid was. Evander Kane had a massive night. Yamamoto was looking insane, and there was a lot of things that was amazing for the Edmonton Oilers tonight, and we got a lot to talk about. Before I get into that, guys, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well, as that'll be very much appreciated, boys, and always come and check out the live streams. I'm doing a live OGR for tonight's game, because, you know, I had to wake up early and didn't have time to be able to make a video tomorrow morning, so pre-make one already during the OGR. So already we got tons of people up in the chat, so if you'd like to, you know, chat in with me, you could always do that as well. It's always amazing. I'm the only one that thinks that Keith is terrible. Oh, dude, we all think Keith is terrible up in this pimp. Just watch the last OGR and you can see how much I hate Duncan Keith. So let's get into this game here between the Oilers and the Kings, where we finally actually play good. Of course, it was a questionable lineup to start off with, a very questionable lineup, throwing out the lineup of Draisaitl, McDavid, Yamamoto. It was Kane, Nuge, and Hyman, but we kind of seen a lot of different lineup combinations throughout the night, like Kane, McLeod, Hyman, Kane, McDavid, Hyman, we've seen a few times, Yamamoto, Nuge, Archibald. We've seen a lot of combinations throughout the entire night. There was lots of different combinations that we've seen, and also Darnell Nurse was the lineup in this game as well, to note, because he was out for headbutting Philip Deneau in the last game, so he was put on a 1-game suspension, so he will be back for next game, but we didn't have him for this game, so it was a massive miss, but the team definitely stepped up big time, especially a guy like Brett Kulak, who played absolutely amazing, playing the top minutes up on that top pair alongside of Cody Ceci, who played very, very well alongside of each other. So let's get into the first period here, where the Edmonton Oilers got off to kind of a rough start. We weren't playing amazing to start off the game, but then we started picking up the pace a little bit. You know, Connor McDavid got a massive goal to start off the game for the Edmonton Oilers. It was a beautiful tuck. It just wrapped it around, tucked it right underneath the pads of Jonathan Quick, and got the very first goal of the game for the Edmonton Oilers, and his third of the playoffs. Amazing start for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's exactly what we need. We needed to score the first goal right off the get-go. That's a huge advantage for us, and we kind of continued. We didn't do too bad. You know, Kings were pushing back a little bit, but we did pretty well in the first period, to say the least. Moving to the second period, this was a pretty boring second period. We got off to a hot start, where we seen Evander Kane got a huge goal for the Edmonton Oilers, a beautiful tip-in right into the back of the net, and then Sean Durzi on the power play got a big one for the LA Kings, which was a horrible call because Nuge really didn't cross-check Anderson in front of the net, but gave a huge goal for Sean Durzi, who got his first of the playoffs, and I think this is his first career playoff goal as well. And to know he's been amazing for the LA Kings as well. Absolute astounding and absolutely amazing for the LA Kings lately. And he got a big power play goal for the Kings to just get him within one. And in the start of the third period, Carl Grundstrom got his third goal of the playoffs. And now was 29 seconds in to the third period, and all of us, me and Josh, were live, and I was absolutely astounded that we allowed that goal into the back of the net, and I was like, oh no, this is really going to start going downhill for us, isn't it? But no, Tyson Barrie, I am saying that right, ladies and gentlemen, Tyson Barrie made a good defensive play, and then not just that, scored the biggest goal of his Edmonton Oil career, throwing it right into the back of the net with a beautiful snipe from the point and getting his first goal of the playoffs. I was absolutely blown away that Mr. Tyson Barrie was actually able to score a goal like this. This absolutely blew my brain, and then Evander Kane got the 7th goal of the playoffs. I put it in the empty netter to give us that 2-goal lead in the game, which was an absolute finish for Tyson Barrie, who actually played very, very well in this game. There's a lot of positives to talk about, and Tyson Barrie was probably one of them, who played very well defensively, whether it was alongside of Russell or Philip Broberg, who didn't really get a whole lot of ice time. He only got about 3 minutes in this game, which honestly he deserved a little bit more, because honestly he looked really good in the lineup as well. But of course, you don't want to overplay a young guy like Philip Broberg too much. You're only having him in there if someone falls to an injury and you need Philip Broberg to play a little bit more minutes. And also, no, I did not like how we continue to ride Puljujarvi on the bench as well. Not too sure what's going on with Puljujarvi, or if there's any injury, or they're just not liking to play him right now. There's some really weird signs with Puljujarvi that it's feeling like Ethan Bear 2.0, where we might be dumping him off. And this would be the worst mistake, trading away Jesse Puljujarvi, because he's been absolutely amazing. In the first few shifts that I've seen him play, he didn't play that bad. He was honestly not terrible for the Edmonton Oilers, and I thought he played pretty well. So let's get into talking about the players and everything like that. And honestly, the Oilers, we deserve to win this game. We played really well. It was a fucking boring game. I mean, I wanted to snooze through most of the second period, and especially in the third period, because the Oilers, they played a very defensive game and only went on the attack when they had that offensive, offensive opportunity to go after it. So it was a very slow game, but the Edmonton Oilers without a doubt deserved this victory. This was a game where we played a lot better than what we did in game 4 or game 5, and it's definitely a game that we really, really wanted to see. And Scott F, yeah, McDavid is playing his best game right now. Without a doubt, he is. He is looking absolutely amazing, and McDavid was one of those big guys tonight. He had 3 points on the night. He was all over the place for the Edmonton Oilers, generating a lot of plays and playing really well defensively. He had an expected 2 goals for in this game. He was absolutely amazing for the Edmonton Oilers. Kane as well was amazing. Hyman, Draisaitl, Yamamoto was all over the place. I think he was one of our best Oilers all night long. He was absolutely incredible. Ryan McLeod also played really well as well. Archibald was meh. I don't know why we benched Fogle for Archibald. I know Fogle hasn't been amazing, but benching him over Archibald, I just hard disagree with that. And then Cassian had a mad night. Ryan and Nuge also didn't have amazing nights either. That was like the only line I wasn't a big fan of, is when they put Archibald and Nuge and Ryan alongside of each other. They were hemmed in their own zone majority of the time, and they didn't play that well. They didn't generate a whole lot of opportunities, and they really didn't generate a whole lot of opportunities. And yo, my man Perlo, how's it going, bro? Overall, it was not a terrible game here for the Edmonton Oilers. We definitely really brought the best game. Now, it wasn't an amazing game. There's still a lot of things that we need to clean up, where we had tough times getting out of our own zone. We just, we couldn't get out of our own zone, or we made a bad turnover. That was a big thing as well. We had a lot of bad turnovers throughout this game as well that we definitely need to clean up going into game 7. At least we were able to recover and keep a lot of the chances to the outside, which I think is also a big thing, because the LA Kings didn't have a whole lot of scoring opportunities right in the center. They had a lot of shots from the outside, and that was a big thing for the Edmonton Oilers, is that we were able to keep them to the outside, and we were able to play very, very well defensively. So let's talk about our defensive core. Kulak and Ceci was absolutely amazing, I gotta say. They had a really good night, the both of them. They generated some offense, played not bad defensively as well, and especially since they were dealing with the bulk of the minutes, playing against some of the top players. It was a really, really big night for Kulak and Ceci, who played absolutely amazing. And then Keith and Bouchard, they had an alright night defensively as well. I thought Keith was definitely way better than what he was the previous night. I thought he had a really good night defensively, and I thought, honestly, he was probably one of our better defenders throughout the entire night. Funny enough to say that, after an abomination of a night in game 5, he had a bounce back game and played really, really well. Russell and Barry also had a pretty good night as well. They weren't too bad defensively. I thought they were pretty positive. They were probably one of our better defensive cores, but they didn't really play that amount of minutes, or defensive pairings I meant, but they didn't get a whole lot of minutes. But I think one of our better defensive pairings throughout the night was Duncan Keith and Evan Bouchard. They had an incredible night, and really, really good night for the Edmonton Oilers. And Broberg, who played about 3 minutes, didn't play too bad. I thought every time he had a shift out there, he played pretty well defensively, but didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to do anything out there, since he only got about 3 minutes of ice time out there. Archibald, I don't like him getting too many minutes, 15 minutes of ice time. I do not know why we're giving that guy the amount of minutes that we're getting him. Maybe it's just because he, generates a lot of offense or hits, and maybe juices up the team a little bit. I don't know, but we were playing him a whole crap ton. McDavid got a crap ton of minutes. Draisaitl almost got injured as well. There was a few concerns in this game, but big thing here for the Edmonton Oilers going into game 7. We got to you know, continue what we were doing here, but we got to bring it up another level because we know the Kings are going to bring their best game into Game 7, and we got to bring our best game into Game 7 as well. There's a lot of positives to take away in this game, but there's a lot of negatives to talk about as well that are a big concern as our turnovers. Can we get the puck out of our own zone? That's a big thing for us as well, that we got to be able to get the puck out of our own zone and be able to do it a lot more cleanly as well. So there is a lot of positives and negatives to talk about in this game. But hey, in the end, the Edmonton Oilers got a big dub and will be heading off to Game 7, which I will be live with those games. I'll be live for Game 7 for the Leafs and Tampa Bay Lightning, and I will also be live with the Edmonton Oilers going up against the Kings as well, so make sure to tune into that big stream on Saturday. But for now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Also, shout out to Mike Smith, who had another amazing night for the Edmonton Oilers. He played absolutely incredible, making 30 saves out of the 32 shots that he's seen, and he was really good tonight, and the Edmonton Oilers played a way better game than what we did in Game 4 and 5. We actually played hockey, which was absolutely amazing to see, but it was still an absolute snooze fest. But for now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, boys, and I'll see you guys all later. Adios, amigos.